Hi everyone. So welcome to the Cool Crochet Society. I'm Kelly and I like to help teach you crochet and give you tips and advice on how to get started and what you really need. So I hear a lot of people saying they want to get started, but they don't know where to start. And you see all these patterns on Pinterest and Google. You think, I want to do all that. Uh, a lot of people want to do it because their grandma did and they want to carry on the tradition. But how do you do it? How do you get started and where do you look? Well, you're in the right place. You're on YouTube. The best place to start is a YouTube video. Learning through pictures can be very difficult because it's very hard to tell what's going on through a single picture. It's much better to see um, as you're doing it. So, what do you need? Well, essentially, you only need a hook, a ball of yarn, and some stitch markers. That's it. That's the beauty about crochet. It's such an accessible hobby. It's cheap. Well, at least if you don't develop a addiction like I have. I have mountains of yarn. I think I've got more than I can use in a lifetime at the moment. But essentially, it's a fairly cheap hobby to do. You don't need a special room all laid out with fancy equipment. You can do it sat in front of the TV with your family, just hooking away. I would say while watching the TV, you'll hear everything. I doubt you'll remember what anyone's face looks like. But the satisfaction of seeing something that you've created grow in front of you, essentially by knotting together a piece of string, is incredibly satisfying. And it's so accessible to everyone of all ages, and what you can create is only limited by your own imagination. So, what do you need to know? The first thing you need to know is how to chain. And that's very simple. You just create a chain of stitches in a row. And this is the base for any project um, in a row, like a blanket, washcloth, scarves, everything is like that is made as essentially as a square. And these are the projects you really should start with, just because they're nice and simple. Crocheting in the round, the hats and baskets is an extra challenge. My advice: start simply. So there are lots and lots of choices when it comes to hooks and yarn. So which should you choose? When it comes to yarn, you can walk into a yarn shop and you will get overwhelmed by the number of colours, sizes, brands, weights. What do you choose? If you're a starter, I'd recommend a chunky yarn. On the back of the ball of yarn, there'll be a recommended hook size. It could be a single size, such as 6mm, or it could be a range 4 to 5mm. You want something chunkier. I'd go for a 6mm. Once you've got your yarn, it doesn't matter what fibre it is, don't matter what brand it is. All that matters to get started is how chunky it is. So minimum a 6mm. And then you go get your hook. Match your hook to the yarn, not the other way around, otherwise you're going to get frustrated. Um, so when it comes to hooks, you can get a very simple starter hook, which is just a very thin piece of metal. The downside to that is that while it's very cheap, it can make your hands ache because the thinner the hook is, the more you need to grip it and the harder your hand needs to work. If you get an ergonomic hook, it forces your hand to rest because you're not gripping so much. So if you have any hand or wrist issues, your carpal tunnel or anything like that, I'd choose an ergonomic hook which has a much chunkier handle, and that means you'll be able to crochet in comfort and it'll be much easier. So once you've got done that, you really do need stitch markers. Stitch markers means you can keep track of the ends of your rows and you don't have to count as much. And it's because if you don't count your stitches in a row, you can end up with very wobbly sides because you've missed stitches or added stitches accidentally at the end of the row. Stitch markers don't have to be anything fancy. You can get some really beautiful ones online if you look at Etsy and things like that. But they're essentially just a way to mark your stitches. If you've got a hair grip or a safety pin, they work brilliantly. Nothing fancy required. So 2 of those, and then you can get started. So if you go into my channel, I have lots and lots of videos on how to get started, how to chain, how to turn, stitches you can make, single crochet, double crochet, depending if you're using US, UK terms. There's another pitfall for you. So watch out for that. But the majority of patterns you'll find are written in US terms. If there's a single crochet mentioned, it's US. But I start with something simple. You just a single stitch, pick one, and just do it in rows and make yourself a scarf or a washcloth. Something nice and square. Doesn't need to be anything complicated, but it gives you a chance to practice. And the one thing you're going to find trouble with is your tension. Getting the right tension, it just takes practice. There's no magic solution to it. And you'll find that as you practice, as you keep going, you will naturally find your own tension. And once you've done that, your stitches will become much more consistent, they'll be much neater, and you'll be much happier with your work. But there's no magic cure to that. It just takes practice. Crochet is a very easy skill. There's essentially 6 building blocks and then you can do anything. But practice makes perfect. And it's the same for everyone. Some people do that quickly, others won't. But you'll get there in the end. It's such a popular craft and it's so satisfying. And it's also a fantastic way to release stress and anxiety because it distracts your brain from anything else going on in your life. And it gives you, as it takes your mind away, it gives you a chance to relax and you will feel that, which is why everyone loves it so much. Even if you think you have no stresses or worries that you need to distract yourself from, it's very satisfying just to see something you're creating with your own hands. And it can be a very practical hobby as well. You don't need to make decorative things. You can make very practical things. You can make yourself your home decor. Scarves, hats are very handy. My particular favourite is things like shower puffs and reusable cotton wool pads. I make those a lot. But you can make anything. Amigurumi, which are crocheted stuffed toys. They're very popular. What people come up with those is absolutely amazing, and it's on my wish list to try myself and get into. But I hope this has been of help. I would love to hear more about you, and if you do need any help, please come over to my Facebook group. The link's in the banner. I'd love to see you there. I post every week a new video, tutorials in crochet that you might be interested in. They're on the YouTube channel. I have links to them in my Facebook group as well. But of course, if you have any questions to ask, I'm here. I would love to help. Please come on over, and I'd love to see what you're up to. So thank you for joining me. I hope this has been good for you. And it's great to see you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.